This Go Air Flight 811 is on its final approach to runway 09 to land at Bangalore airport. But in a matter of minutes, what seems like a regular landing became a nightmare for 175 passengers and all the crew members. Instead of landing on the runway, this Airbus A320 landed on a grassy area just outside the runway. Now the question is, how do these pilots end up here, and will they manage to avert another disaster in the unfolding events? Let's investigate. This story was started in the early morning at Nagpur airport, where 175 passengers and 6 crew members were getting ready for a short journey to Bangalore. An Airbus A320, a popular choice for short to medium range flights, was chosen for this trip. The pilot in command was a very experienced with more than 20,000 flying hours, including 8,500 plus hours especially on A320. Alongside him, a young co-pilot who was relatively new to A320 with just 109 hours on this aircraft. The pilot in command is going to handle takeoff and landing for this flight, and after reaching 1000 feet, the co-pilot will take control until 1000 feet before landing. Unfortunately, the PIC was unaware that the company policy did not allow such mid-flight handovers. And surprisingly, safety department had also not raised any concerns during routine CVR monitoring regarding this 1000 feet to 1000 feet flying. In the months of October and November, Bangalore airport encounters light fog. These weather conditions often led to abrupt shifts in visibility and RVR changes. Considering these unpredictable changes, the flight plan included 2 alternate destinations. Hyderabad, chosen as the primary option due to its greater distance, and the closer Chennai as the secondary choice. The flight departed Nagpur at 5:44 am local time, and the climb and cruise phase went smoothly. It was now 7:03 in the morning when the aircraft received the latest weather information. It was light winds, visibility of 200 meters, RVR of 1500 meters in the fog, and cloud base reported was broken at 200 feet. So the weather is sufficient to conduct a Cat 1 ILS approach. Now you must be wondering, what is RVR, cloud base and ILS? Imagine you are driving on a foggy night to a destination you have never been to. Think of a RVR as how far you can clearly see the road ahead while driving. In the aviation, it's like a pilot needing to see a certain distance along the runway for a safe landing or takeoff. If it's really foggy, pilot might struggle to see far, just like you might struggle to see the road ahead in dense fog while driving. Now think about a layer of thick clouds hanging low in the sky, partially blocking your view of the stars and moon. In aviation, we call this the ceiling or cloud base. It's like the height of these clouds above the ground. Pilots care about this because it tells them how high or low the clouds are, and at what height the pilots will begin to see the ground. This is known as decision height. It becomes important when pilots want to do an instrument approach using ILS. ILS or Instrument Landing System is like a trusted guide for pilots. It's a ground-based system that ensures planes align perfectly with the runway, enabling safe and precise landing when visibility is challenging. Now within ILS, we have 3 different categories: Cat 1, Cat 2 and Cat 3, each dealing with various levels of difficulty during the landing process. For the Cat 1 approach, pilots must see the ground at 200 feet, which is also referred as decision height, and maintain a runway visual range of at least 550 meters. In Cat 2, pilots require a lower decision height of 100 feet and a reduced RVR of 300 meters. Lastly, Cat 3 approach is the superhero mode for foggy landings. It comes with 3 subcategories: Cat 3A, Cat 3B and Cat 3C. Each have a different RVR requirements with no specific decision height. It's now 7:14 and the radar controller relayed a new weather update stating all station visibility 200 meters and RVR 1200 meters. Subsequently, 2 minutes later, the aircraft was also cleared for the ILS approach to runway 09. Now, despite the deteriorating weather condition, the air traffic controller did not provide any further RVR updates to the pilots. This was due to the Drishti display not being in the clear line of sight for the approach controller. This technology helps the airport stay updated on the rapidly changing weather condition, especially during periods of fog. Additionally, a special meteorological report is typically used when RVR changes or crosses specific limits like 150, 600 meters or 800 meters. However, in this case, it was not issued at the time of the incident when the RVR dropped to 125 meters, leading to a lack of broadcast message regarding RVR deterioration while the flight was on the approach frequency. During approach, they were also following a Boeing 737 aircraft from SpiceJet. Surprisingly, just 2 minutes after receiving the landing clearance, the SpiceJet aircraft initiated a go-around. After the go-around, the ATC did not inquire about the reason for the go-around, and an opportunity was missed to quickly check the Drishti application for the latest RVR, which stood at 125 meters at that time. Approximately 1 minute later, Go Air flight received landing clearance. The flight crew saw the approach lights when the aircraft was at 600 feet during the approach. Now let's get familiar with the Bangalore airport and the different types of lights present on the runways. At the time of the incident, Bangalore airport operated with a single 4000 meter runway, which does not have a center line lights, which helps the pilot maintain the correct alignment with the runway. But it does have a runway edge lights. These lights are like the runway boundaries for pilots, especially when the visibility is low. They assist the pilots to stay on course during takeoff and landing. And at the starting point, we have approach lights. These approach lights helps pilots to determine the correct altitude and alignment for a seamless landing. In challenging weather conditions, they become a crucial visual aid, ensuring planes approach the runway safely and touch down with precision. And just left of the runway, we have a grassy area. Runway 09 was equipped with an instrument landing system and categorized as a Cat 1. For the airline to enable auto land on Cat 1, a necessary safety assessment should have been conducted. Unfortunately, this assessment was not carried out in this instance. As a result, the pilots were unable to use auto land. Given the absence of Cat 3 ILS system at the airport, the autopilot was disengaged at 220 feet to facilitate a manual landing. However, as the aircraft neared the runway, visibility decreased significantly compared to the information provided by the air traffic controller. At 50 feet, with the approach lights below the aircraft and the sun directly in their line of sight, visibility became blurred. The combination of foggy condition and sunlight created a challenging circumstances. To add further complexity, the absence of centerline lights at the airport played a crucial role in this loss of visual reference. The pilot in command mistakenly identified the left runway edge lights as the runway centerline lights, which were not present at the aerodrome. As a result, the PIC initiated a bank to the left, at the same time slowing the descent rate and initiating the flare maneuver to land the aircraft smoothly on the runway. Just before the plane was about to touch down at an altitude of 20 feet above the runway, the co-pilot said, "Go around." Responding to the co-pilot's call, the captain, uncertain of their position, promptly initiated a go-around maneuver. However, the plane was going too slow, and when the captain tried to make the plane climb, it ended up touching the ground on the unpaved surface. Following this, the left engine stalled due to the intake of debris during the brief touchdown on the unpaved surface, causing a decrease in the thrust from the affected engine. After taking off again, the crew got 3 warnings within 15 seconds. One about the terrain, another about low speed, and a third about the engine one stall.
Too low, terrain, pull up. Too low, terrain, pull up. Too low, terrain.
The captain managed to make the plane climb. The crew attempted to restore the number 1 engine by advancing the thrust levers. However, an engine stall alert occurred and the thrust levers for engine 1 kept it idle power for the rest of the flight. Interestingly, the crew didn't seem to notice or talk about these warnings much at the time. They also didn't discuss where the plane had touched the ground after the go down. When communicating with air traffic control, they mentioned a technical problem but didn't specifically mention the engine trouble. They waited to see if the situation would get better in Bangalore, but eventually decided to land safely in Hyderabad due to non-improvement in the weather. This incident highlights the importance of effective communication between the air traffic control and flight crew, especially in adverse weather conditions. It also underscores the significance of proper infrastructure such as central line lights and following safety protocols to ensure smooth and secure operation. After this incident, numerous recommendations were made. Feel free to pause this video to read them in detail. I hope you gained a valuable insight today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing to this channel for more videos.